you're 6-6. I'm 7-5. So you probably need to win both to. Oh no, you're in six on your own right now.
I just need to win.
You and Ahmed
But
are tied for six with at 6-6, and I'm tied for fourth at 7-5 with Scott. And Roe, Pat, and Corey have already locked in their spots at 8-4. So there's three more to go. And
yeah,
there's one, two, three, four of us fighting. So someone between you, me, Scott, and Ahmed's getting booted, and the other three are going to make it, it looks like.
we'll see. I was feeling good a week ago, and then Jonathan Taylor out,
Yeah.
and then DK Metcalf 40, and I was like, all right.
Dude, I feel like this is one game right now that's I've picked wrong. Tennessee.
Who did you pick?
I picked the Colts, and Derrick Henry just had 30-yard freaking touchdown.
Oh, really?
I was just
Nice.
reading something that a guy was gonna that he was gonna go off today because he always goes off at home.
Should we start with that game?
Sure.
So welcome everybody. Good morning,
Shalabish.
everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shabalabish. Welcome to NFL Week
Week
13
13.
pick'em.
Wow. Can't believe it.
I guess we'll just start with that game you mentioned. Well, did we want to say anything else about the Seahawks Dallas? I
Yeah,
was
that was a
wrong.
great game.
I was
Um,
wrong.
Absolute shootout. Um, Gino played hard. Um, Dallas defense didn't quite show up like we know them to. They gave up 35 points and like over 400 yards. But they made the stops that they needed to at the end of the game, I guess. A couple of broken plays with DK Metcalf, big touchdowns, but I don't know. It was a good game to test the Cowboys' will, and they came back and won. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, most definitely. Seattle, I originally, like I said, I picked Seattle to win, even though it was a Thursday night home matchup for the Cowboys. I just feel like Seattle, they're a physical team, and generally those kind of teams, they play the Cowboys close. They're always up for those Thursday night games, those so I thought Seattle would keep it close, and I was right about that. Ultimately, Cowboys the better overall team. Like you said, bland. Um, more specifically for the defense on the Cowboys, he kind of had an off night, but it's okay because he's been like basically like a defensive MVP for that team this whole year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Seattle, they did get a few lucky plays. I think they had like some defensive penalty on the Cowboys that moved the Seattle's right to the one, so they got that easy rushing touchdown too. So I think Seattle got was the beneficiary of some good calls that kept it close. But Cowboys were able to get the win.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game on a Thursday for once, too.
Yeah, it was an interesting game too because I think they said there was was it no punts,
Yeah,
something like that.
that's wild. That doesn't happen anymore.
Um,
Let's get into that other game, Tennessee and the Colts.
so I picked I actually
I
did pick Tennessee.
I picked the Colts. Um, Everything I was reading was saying that this game was going to go for Tennessee. So I don't know why I picked the Colts, but I just don't have that much faith in the Titans this year so far. And even though they're undefeated at home, their four wins have all been at home. I just, I don't know. I didn't like it. And the Colts have been playing well recently. So not sure. I don't know. Derrick Henry usually eats at home. I thought about that, but I just have no faith in them so far. So that's why I didn't pick them.
Yeah, on paper, I probably would say the Colts are better. I was thinking about it from the perspective that it's the AFC South divisional matchup. So, divisional games are always going to be close regardless. It is at home for Tennessee. So, Tennessee, like we've said in the past, they're one of those teams that they always will keep it kind of close. They'll play hard for Vrabel. So, it was just one of those things. And then the fact that they are going to be down Jonathan Taylor now kind of just put me
Yeah.
on that side now. Not that Zach Moss is is like a wash at backup because he was doing really well earlier in the year when Taylor was out, but still something that factored in.
Yeah. We'll see how that one plays out the rest of the day. Right now it's 7-0 Titans with a Derrick Henry rush.
Okay.
How about Lions Saints? Another fun pick here. I picked the Lions. I think they bounce back after the Thanksgiving um disaster that happened.
It looks like they're up
And
7-0 right now.
yeah, they just marched down the field and ran in for a touchdown. Um, Saints, no faith. Just every time I want to pick them, they lose. Every time I don't pick them, they win. It's
Mm.
like last week when it was Saints Falcons was just like the worst game of all time.
Yeah. I
uh,
the Saints, yeah, I think Derek Carr's playing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's I think it's definitely he definitely has as part of the issue for
Yeah,
sure.
what is their deal? I just
Um
don't get it.
they're like good in all like they're just like good in all areas, but they don't really have there's nothing that's really separating them. Their defense always was keeping them in it for a while, and they're slowly declining, regressing a little bit. They lost Michael Thomas. I think Chris Olave is a little bit banged up.
Yeah.
Um, they just don't really have a great identity. Alvin Kamara is still there, but he's just a year older. He doesn't quite look the same. He's just getting production mostly off of volume. Um, they sprinkle in Taysom Hill sometimes here and there.
Yeah, and then
It's
he like
just
fumbled last week.
yeah,
So
exactly.
this just the whole team's not really playing that great.
Yeah. So I
So
got Detroit too.
yeah, hopefully that's an easy lock for us. Um, how about Miami at Washington Commanders? Pretty easy pick there. Picking Miami. Um, Washington just fired everybody, right?
Yeah.
Recently. Um, they're kind of in disarray. Not really sure what their identity is either. Moving forward, which is like kind of the opposite of the team they're playing. The Dolphins have very much established their identity. Oh, big pass from the Colts, touchdown, 7-7,
Oh,
Minshew
Pittman?
baby.
Pittman?
Um, Alec Pierce.
Oh. Shout out Caleb. Shout out Cincinnati Bearcats.
Oh yeah, nice, nice. Well, I'm happy to see that.
Okay.
7-7.
So
First touchdown this season for Alex Pierce. And CJ overthrows somebody on 3rd and 1 on the goal line.
oh, do we want to go
Probably
to
going to
that
kick a
game?
field goal. Yeah, we can go to that game.
Oh, I didn't even say my spiel on Miami, but yeah, agree with everything you said. Miami better team,
Yeah.
and it
I
looks like they're
mean,
healthy now too. They got
yeah,
all their running backs, so
they're a solid team. I think they're making the playoffs for sure. They probably have that division locked down by now with the Bills' struggles
yeah,
earlier in the season.
should be easy win. But going
Yeah.
over to your game, we got
Yeah. Houston, Denver. Pretty solid matchup.
yeah, Denver's been trending up actually lately. I have to admit, as much as hate as I was giving Sean Payton earlier, I think they've won the last 4 games in a row.
I want to say 5. They
Five
were
games.
1-5. And now they're 6-5.
What switched?
I don't know if like Russell just woke up one day, or I don't know what game was it that they snapped out of it and they won. Um and then they just kind of kept getting these close wins at the end.
Yeah, I was admittedly like one of those
every week.
haters, you know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
they won one. I was like, okay, they're not going to win two. Then they win two. Oh, they're not going to win three. And so, okay, now they're starting to
Now
look,
they're
turn my
6 and
shoulder.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Won 5 in a row. Uh, that stops today. I'm
Yeah.
telling you
I
right
picked the
now.
Texans too.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. I don't see CJ Stroud being one that likes to lose back to back weeks. I think
Home
he gets really motivated by a loss, especially a close game last week that they couldn't pull out versus the Jags,
home game.
and it's a home game. Yeah.
Broncos are also down Kareem Jackson because I know that he was one of their secondary who's pretty good. He's like one of their enforcers, but he's gotten multiple suspensions this year.
Mm,
Yeah.
yikes.
One was
That's no good.
like a one game and then he did it again and now it's like a four game. So that'll definitely factor in. So yeah, Texans. Oh, the
I'm
one thing
picking the Texans. Yeah,
I got him
obviously.
too. I think the one thing I was going to mention to you, sorry, I cut you off. The
No.
O line, I think it said earlier in the week, I think you are down right tackle. So they just need to
Mm.
make sure.
Oh,
Although,
touchdown Detroit again. They're up 14-0.
no,
This might be a blowout.
tell me it wasn't Gibbs.
It wasn't Gibbs. He got all the way down to the 3, and then somebody else got it. Vultured.
So I don't get blown out
For our
today.
followers, Andy and I are playing each other this week in fantasy for probably the last playoff spot, I'm guessing, for the
Close to
sixth
it,
seed.
yeah.
So close to it. We're fighting. Tyreek Hill, big long pass, touchdown. He's gone. Miami up 7-0. Yeah, I what game were we on? Oh, we were talking about
Fair
Texans
game.
still.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Denver is playing a lot better, but I think they're going to come back down to earth and have a couple losses here. I don't think they end up making any playoff noise. I think there's just too many other AFC contenders. Um yeah, I don't know if you're looking at the rest of their
I'm
schedule,
looking.
but
I'm still such a hater that I say they don't even make the playoffs, but
yeah.
we'll see. So they won. I'm just looking at their last games. They won one, two. So after losing to the Chiefs, they
Mhm.
beat the Packers by two, and then they beat the Chiefs again 2 weeks later, and then they beat the Bills and then the Vikings. So
Oh yeah, they
Packers,
had that ridiculous game with the Chiefs. I forgot about that. And that Packers game, they were down like by 10 going into the fourth quarter and came back.
yeah, Bills game was very
So,
close, 2 points, and then they beat
yeah.
the Vikings by one. So
Yeah.
they've been squeaking by.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
but
they're
still
coming back
kudos.
down to earth. But yeah, whatever. I don't know. Russell has played better, but still, they're they're trash. They're
Oh, and
not
then
doing anything.
they beat the. You're right. Sorry, I was not even looking. It was the 5 game, and then after the Vikings, they beat the Browns pretty handily, 29-12. But I think that's when Dorian Thompson got hurt again, and
Yeah.
but yeah, so five in a
And
row.
what's his
Jeez.
face? Left the game. Um Miles Garrett left the game last week, I think.
Okay,
Okay, so we did Houston, we did the Colts, we did Miami. Chargers at Patriots.
I,
Two terrible teams
I got
meeting.
Chargers. I'm a little surprised. At least the ESPN pick 'em. It said like 95% Chargers. I don't think it'd be that big of a
I didn't
discrepancy.
think it'd be that either. I think the Patriots definitely have a chance to win this game with how bad the Chargers are at closing out games and wins. That being said, I still did pick the Chargers just because I have no faith in Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones or whoever the hell is going to quarterback for the Patriots. Um, and you got to think that the Chargers defense can make a couple plays here. But the problem is they haven't been scoring a lot of points. They had all these high scoring games in the beginning of the season that they were losing, but now they can't score any points. So
Yeah, I wonder if that's like a Herbert thing or more of like a
yeah,
Kellen Moore thing.
last week that they were getting stops. The defense was getting stops for them on third down and fourth down, and then the offense just couldn't get anything going. Eckler fumbled again. Keenan had a fumble. It was just like they're not playing complimentary football, which is probably their head coach.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I will say they were playing the Ravens defense, which is one of the more
Yeah,
elite this year though. But they did not look like themselves.
they just Herbert and the offense didn't look like it was there. I don't
Do
know.
4-7 right now, the Chargers. Do we think Brandon Staley gets fired
I
possibly
think
mid-season?
no, just
Okay,
because of the way that the Chargers always do it. I think that there's a high possibility he gets fired at the end, but they've already gone this far. Like, what's the point in firing him now? Kind
true.
of a thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Um, I don't know. That being said, I picked them, so maybe they squeeze one out. Um, let's get into your favorite team, Fat Atlanta versus the Donkey New York Jets.
Well, you already know
Just,
who I picked.
just, oh God, why is it like every week? Oh, Jesus. Just saw Will Levis like 5 feet in the air trying to hurdle a guy and got completely toppled. Um, I love that Dennis calls them Fat Lana
Yeah.
too in
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
recap
Yeah.
emails because that's so true. They're so dumb. They have good players, but they just can't get it going. Every time I
Yeah.
think they're like the Saints to me this year. They just they can't get anything going. I don't know what it is about that division. That's just like,
Yeah, it's
what
that
in the
division.
hell is going on?
Nobody wants to win that division.
Yeah. Like, what are you what? I just don't get it.
They were last week slowly feeding Bijan more now, so which is why they won.
Surprise. You use your best
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, they gave it to him like 20 plus times. He scored 2 touchdowns. What do you know? Yeah. Um, this actually might be, admittedly, again, this might be one of those games where I'm just so against the Fat Lana that I'm just
That you picked the
being
Jets.
headstrong. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
could see them getting this one, but Jets at
Yeah.
home, I'm like, I try to convince myself the defense is elite. There's no
Yeah.
way Artie Smith's offense is going to go through that defense.
Will they get more than 70 yards on offense, though? Like, is the question. Maybe they'll get like 50 rushing yards, but will they get more than 50 passing yards?
Mm.
Ooh, big catch for Collins down to the 20.
Who did you pick
Houston
though?
game. I picked Atlanta,
Okay.
regrettably.
Yeah.
It was one of the last ones I chose, and I just had to. I couldn't pick the Jets. I just couldn't. I've tried a couple times this year, and they look so bad on offense that it's just abysmal. I cannot choose them to win a game.
Like I
And
can't
I
fault
was
you for
asking my
that.
dad this, and I was like, how can they not find one guy that can play quarterback like half decently? Like, how is there no Josh McCown or somebody out there that they can find right now
I mean, I don't
that's
know what you
got to
think.
be better than Zach Wilson or whatever that other guy's name was that played a couple games?
Oh,
Just looks
yeah, I don't even remember his
completely
name.
lost out there. It's like the Patriots. How can you guys can't find somebody that's a little bit better at quarterback to play than Mac Jones? Like, I guess was he a late first round pick in
He was
that
a
draft with
he's like
like a
a
bunch of
mid
them?
he was like a mid to early. I think he was like the between 10 and 15.
He was in that Zach Wilson draft, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yikes.
Um
Big time yikes.
um which game do we want to go to next? How about uh
Um
Cardinals at Steelers?
Mac Jones was 15th overall. Yikes.
And then I think the 49ers almost, yeah, there was all those rumors about 49ers possibly getting him, but then they got Trey Lance.
Oh God. Was that year?
Bigger yikes on the Trey Lance Dallas Cowboys Trey Lance.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's terrible.
Or was that the same one? Maybe not.
So that year, Trevor Lawrence goes number one overall. Zach Wilson goes number two. San Francisco trades up to select Trey Lance number three. Kyle Pitts is four. Jamar Chase five. Waddle six. Devonta Smith 10. Justin Fields 11. Mac Jones 15. Yikes. So really the only guy that's decent out of this whole draft is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Four other QBs get drafted in the top 11 or top 15, and most of them are hot garbage. Interesting. It's always funny to look back.
I'm one of the few
Lions are driving again. This might be a shootout.
I am one of the few lone believers though, um, in Justin Fields though.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
think if he was given some more decent line and things around him, but he needs like a good coach. He needs like a D'Amico Ryan's, like somebody like
Well,
that that's like gonna that wants to come in there and is like, he's my guy. I'm gonna build around this guy. I'm gonna teach him how to play football.
that's true. Or I was gonna say, or something like that with the leadership, or an offensive guy that can help him, because his
Yeah.
current defensive guy is not helping him.
No, he needs like a like a Kyle
Eberflus.
Shanahan, like Sean McVay type of young guy
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
gonna go in there and be like, I'm gonna build up this offense around you and your skills.
yeah. Exactly. I agree. So does Bryce Young. Do we want to go to that
Absolutely.
game? Do we want to go to that game?
Yeah. Let's go to that game.
Panthers 1-10 visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4-7 at home for the Bucks. I got the Bucks.
I got the Bucks too. It's just too easy of a pick. I don't know what I was thinking last week picking the Panthers. I just ever since they beat the Texans, I was like, oh, they can win a game,
Yeah.
but they can't. They
But
can't.
that was their
Every
one
time
win.
I think
Yeah.
they're gonna win, yeah,
Yeah.
that was their one win,
Mhm.
and it came down to like a last second field goal. I think a lot of the
Mhm.
Tech Houston games have come down to that.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's
I
why I can't be that upset.
I'm
Hey,
still
look at this. A score update in the Falcons Jets game 0-0.
I'm gonna have to look up
Ah,
the stats in a second to see the touches
total yards.
distribution, the distribution.
Yeah.
Bijan no carries, but Cordero two carries. I
Kyle
will.
Pitts, zero targets.
Yeah. I was gonna say, for Tampa Bay, yeah, I still have Tampa Bay, obviously, but it will be a little interesting to see how the Panthers change, if at all, because of the Frank Reich signing.
Yeah.
Frank Reich
Hiring.
firing. Yes.
Yeah.
You know how that sometimes just kind of wakes teams up a little bit,
Fires a team up.
or
Yeah.
just, yeah. So,
Yeah. I don't know. I got the Bucks here. I think
yeah.
the Bucks are a little better than 4-7. They've had a couple of tough losses as well. But I don't think they're anything special
Yeah.
either. But I think they're better than Carolina. Like you said, maybe Carolina has some fire under their butts. Just one other morning game we missed. Cardinals at Steelers. I think pretty easy pick. The Steelers here.
Yeah, I got the Steelers.
Cardinals looking better with Kyler back, but I still think Steelers better coached, better overall team. I think they figure out a way to win
Yeah,
there.
at home. And then, like we were just saying about the coaching, they fired their OC, which was a long time coming if you talk to a lot of Steelers fans. So that's actually opened up their offense a little bit more now. So it might just not all fall on Kenny Pickett. It might have been a coaching issue. So yeah,
Hmm.
so just more confidence towards the Steelers pick is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
um
Agreed. Let's move on to Browns at Rams.
ooh,
Um,
I
Browns 7-4, having a decent year, but they keep losing their best players due to injury. So for that reason, I've picked the Rams in this game. Texans
I
4th and 2 on the 7, going for it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. CJ and somebody getting into it.
ooh.
Flags being thrown. Oh no.
Do
Interesting.
Texans ever tush push it with CJ Stroud? I mean, he's
They
big
had they
enough.
just did on a 4th and 1 earlier, I saw. Um, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. Oh, it was like kind of like a false start looking thing. Oh, I think they're gonna get a first down out of this.
Oh,
Nice. Okay.
um,
What'd
going
you
back to
pick in that Rams
Rams.
Browns
I
game?
actually I get mixed. The way you think about the Saints, I think about the Rams a lot, and I can never
Yeah,
get them right. I went Browns this one. Anytime I see the Rams at home, I don't necessarily give them the home field advantage. Um,
totally.
Browns are interesting team. They just got one of the more physical and one of the best defenses still. And then this is going to be a Joe Flacco game,
Yeah.
so I give them
So interesting.
it could be better or for worse. Better, obviously, he's got the experience, but he hasn't played in a while. So there's that too. But I kind of gave it to that, maybe he can do something with their receivers.
I
Um,
agree. I don't know what's gonna happen there. You never know if like Cooper Cup's gonna have a crazy day or not with this Rams team now. I don't get it. Um,
yeah, they scored 4 touchdowns last week, and Puka
yeah,
and Cooper Cup had like no involvement. It was all Kyron Williams
yeah.
and Higby.
But like who cares, you know?
Yeah,
Like I
exactly.
don't know. They gotta win. So I don't know. I have Rams, you have Browns. That'll be a fun one to follow. That's an afternoon game. Like you said,
Yeah.
Rams never had that true home field advantage.
We got like just under 10 minutes left. Should we just
I
knock out
think we
these
can
last
knock
ones?
these last
Okay.
three. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's save yours for last.
Okay.
Um, let's do Chiefs at Packers.
Okay. I got the
Packers
Chiefs.
having a decent year. I also have the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, even though they're 8-3, it's not their best season. They've definitely had some not so great losses. A couple of those losses were pretty bad. And a lot of these other games, they kind of gotten um, snuck out a win here or there. They did play really well in that Eagles game, and he had a lot of people have drops.
Hmm.
I think that was a really close game, but like two of the best teams. But I do think that the Eagles played hard enough to win. I'm not saying that the uh, Chiefs completely choked that game away, but I think the Chiefs aren't as good as some people think they are. That's what the point I'm trying to make here, I guess.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see partially being like them slightly having that mindset where it's like they win all the time, where it's like it's slightly becoming old, if that makes sense, just a slightly, a little bit, or less exciting to them, to some of
Mm-hmm.
them. So I could see like just the whole motivation possibly, could be contributing a little bit. They win a lot all the time, so it's like whatever. But I can see what you're saying. Yeah, um, but it's
They
hard
have a
to
lot of
always have,
outside noise. This
yeah,
Taylor Swift
to
thing this year,
drama.
a lot of other stuff being talked about besides football.
But even still being in Green Bay, yeah, I Chiefs better team. They should win this one.
I agree.
And
I
then
think they
moving.
win by at least a touchdown or so. Then we
Agreed.
got Monday night Cincinnati Bengals at Jacksonville, which once would have been probably a decent game, is now not.
Yeah.
and I have Jacksonville winning easy here
I also do
at home.
Jacksonville at home. It's fortunate for the Bengals because they got most of their pieces, but they don't have the most important piece. And so without Burrow,
Yeah.
it's gonna be difficult. Yeah.
In my work fantasy league, I straddled Chase and Burrow, and it hasn't been my best year. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Not a great year to straddle those guys. It just hasn't worked out that well.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm with you.
Jacksonville having a decent year again. I think we all weren't super surprised about that. That they were going to build off of the success that they had last year.
I feel like they're like a kind of like a dark horse team right now.
Yeah, nobody really talks about them, but they're quietly have the same amount of wins as the Chiefs
Hmm.
and some other good teams at 8-3. So I think they're a good team. I think they probably end up with winning the division. I think Houston can still make it, but they feel more like a wild card team, and the Jags feel more like a division winner right now, even though they split head to head. But
I'm with you there, but I could see that changing the following year, but we'll see.
yep,
Yeah.
and we still have the Colts hanging right in there too. So you just never know what's going to happen. All right, you want to close it out with your birds?
Yes, we got the
This is probably the game of the week right
prime
here.
time game of the week. We got 49ers visiting my Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, looks like it's about even practically for the pick 'em. Obviously, I mean, I can't go against my birds, coming off all these wins right now, especially to all these good teams. We're in the middle of our gauntlet,
Yeah,
um, being the Chiefs, and the Bills in overtime at home. Obviously it's going to be at the link, so that definitely helps there. Um,
totally.
the noise, it's going to be loud, it's going to be rocking. Um, as I had mentioned earlier, I'm not downplaying the Eagles game, but I do think there is something to be said for like the 49ers having circled this on their calendar the day after the NFC Championship last year. So it's just one of those things that's been constantly ingrained in their mind.
Totally.
Eagles players not necessarily been thinking about it at all. So I think that will factor in. They are like really up for this game. That being said, the Eagles will be too. Um, I'm gonna give it to the my birds. Can't go against them now, but it's gonna be close.
I think
Um,
it's going to be a very close game. Agreed. I also have the Eagles picked. Um, they just find ways to win at the end of a lot of these games, and that they're a good team, and that's what they do. Um, 49ers, I would say if this is oh my gosh, Fat Atlanta just gave up a safety because they tried to run a running play in the end zone.
what did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Jesus. Jets, they find ways to score points, even though their
See,
offense can't
they don't
move the
even need
ball.
they don't even need Zach Wilson.
They're literally on the 2 yard line and they run a power run to the left, and
Was it
Bijan Robinson gets tackled in the end zone,
the
like
big
not even close to getting out.
the surprise to me is not that they got a safety. It was that it was Bijan that got the carry.
Yeah. What a joke. God. Sorry, Atlanta Falcons fans, if you're out there. I don't think you listen to our podcast because we hate on your team absolutely constantly at all times. But if you are a fan and watching us out there, I feel sorry for you because you have great players, but you just don't use them.
It was
I
funny.
don't get it.
It was funny too. Just like a week or two ago, when Leslie was at the Arizona Atlanta game, Arizona
Yeah.
also pulled that one out too.
Yeah.
And then I told her to get flip Artie Smith the bird, and she did that for me. She took a little selfie. Yeah,
Nice. Love it. Love it. Yeah. It ended up being a really good game to go to.
yeah.
She saw a really good game. For this Eagles 49ers game, I think who's ever at home, I was going to pick, as much faith as I have in the Eagles this year. I think if the Niners were at home, I would have had a hard time picking the Eagles and vice versa. Um, I think it's going to go down to the wire. It's probably going to be some last second thing, either a field goal or a turnover or some sort of something at the very end of the game. but I expect this to be pretty high scoring. Definitely, both teams can move the ball on offense, so it
Yeah.
should be a good matchup. I think this will be a true test for both teams to see the grit of their team. And like you
Mhm.
said, it's an NFC uh, playoff matchup from last year, so
Yeah.
a
It's
lot of
all
high tension.
it's also going to be, not making any excuses, but it's also going to be the Eagles' third game in like 13 days. And then they said, and they're just coming off the Bills' overtime game where the defense played over 90 snaps, they said.
Jeez,
So
yeah,
there is a little bit to that. The Eagles down Goddard, but they've been down him a few weeks. Lane Johnson is back, so that's huge. Going to need him
huge.
for Bosa, for all those guys,
All of them.
Hargrave,
Yeah,
Chase Young. And then 49ers side, they are down some like a cornerback, and I think Hufanga is out for the year, the safety. So I'm gonna need the receivers to ball out. AJ Brown,
yeah,
Devontae. Yeah,
definitely. AJ Brown's kind of been quiet last little bit. He's going to need to have a huge game here, I think.
yeah. So tush push today is gonna be crazy for our O line against their D line. That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
should
go
be
birds.
wild.
Yeah.
I agree. Go birds. All
All
right.
right.
I think we got them all
I think we did just enough time. Schlabcast
just in
week
time.
13 pick 'em.
Shabba Beach. Go
Shaba.
Texans. Go Birds. Cowboys already won. So let's see if we can get a trifecta for week 13 here
Hell yeah.
for the Schlabcast. Yeah. Caleb, we miss you. Come back soon. Um, yeah. Anything else you got? Final thoughts? Live long and
Yeah.
Schlabber Beach.
Yeah. That's a good
Sweet.
way.
Nice.
Cool.